Hello, everyone. I'm Darian Gold, and welcome to All Things Pilates Season 7. In this season, you'll hear inspiring stories about the healing power of Pilates and from teachers around the world who will share how they're helping to make Joseph Pilates' wish come true by bringing more attention to the gift he left us, Contrology, transforming bodies one studio and one country at a time. Can you remember what you were doing at age 16? Our guest, Elena Salamone, does. In fact, this was the year she began learning Pilates mat work. And then 2 years later, straight out of high school, Elena joined the Air Force and began training as an aerospace medical technician. Yet, she never forgot about Pilates. And for extra duty, she took on a position as a physical training leader. She added Pilates to the soldiers' other workout programs, and perhaps Joseph Pilates was encouraging Elena because as she led the workouts, including his 34 mat exercises, she witnessed remarkable improvements in the soldiers' fitness levels. So much so that they were able to easily pass their mandated physical test. Isn't it ironic that Joe Pilates used his teachings with soldiers a century ago? And Elena used the same method to empower the soldiers she worked with. Welcome to the show, Elena.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Our listeners don't know this powerful woman. She comes in very softly and a little on the shy side, but just get ready, sit back and listen to an amazing interview. And before we jump into your career as a medical technician, when you were first introduced to the mat work, did you also learn about the apparatus during this time frame?
Absolutely not. I only knew mat for many, many years, even taught mat for many years before I knew that there were apparatus.
How did you discover then that there was?
Oh, when I signed up for teacher training, I walked into her studio.
Whose studio is this?
Internet. Gracie Martinez in Las Vegas. At the Pilates studio of Las Vegas. I walked into her studio and I looked it up online, paid cash, walked in my uniform. She tells me that I need to get on the reformer and try it out because I told her I didn't know what this was about. And as I'm doing, of course, my legs and straps, my legs are shaking out of control and very fit at the time. Now, when that happens to people, I completely understand and try to go back to that moment of, you can only do what you can do at the time. And the Pilates shake can be real.
The Pilates shake. How long were you in the Air Force?
8 years, very naively, 8 years.
Did you know that you would be staying in that amount of time? Or did you think, oh no, I'm going in for 20?
No, Darian. I was waiting for a tan at a tanning salon my senior year of high school. There was an Air Force recruiter next door. Next thing you know, I joined the Air Force. My parents thought I was kidding. And I was on the dance team in high school. Everybody that was on the dance team knew exactly where they were going to go to college. I did not. So that was my easy, this is what I'm going to do. So a week out of high school, I joined the Air Force. Did that 4 years. I re-upped. I was in Iraq. I call my mom and ask her if I can come back home and go to the college here. And,
were you done already?
This was in year 4. And she said, absolutely not. And so I hung up the phone and I was like, I need to re-enlist. And I re-enlisted right there in that moment. It was, when I say naively, I jumped on at the moment on both occasions. So 8 years later.
Now, hold on a second. So you're 16. Let's take you back to 16. You learned the Pilates mat work and you were a natural, I'm assuming.
Oh, I love Pilates. I mean, yes. To me, I still tell people to do the 34, like, duh, do it. If you want to climb a mountain, just do the 34. It's all you need to do. The 34 is everything.
And did you notice you got strong right away from doing that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I would say even in my dance career, high school, growing up, Pilates, even my high school friends remember me doing Pilates. And I feel like It's always helped me in many, many ways.
Yes. And so in our pre-interview, you talked about being a medic. Did you feel like Pilates was a go-to modality for you if you had to either pick up injured soldiers? How did that work?
Absolutely. I would say I had to do that quite a bit. We're carrying patients to and from locations, so they would be on a gurney and,
You call
like
them
any,
patients and not soldiers.
yes. So, but you could call them whatever. But we'd have to carry them, especially on deployed locations, to and from. And absolutely, ICU patients, it's not only the patient on the gurney swollen, it is the patient with every device that they need to keep their life going at the time. So sometimes 10 to 12, breathing machines and wound vacs and all other types of machines are on this small gurney, and you have to take them here and there, and sometimes in a dangerous location. So yes, absolutely. I had friends in Germany that would call me Centaur because I was the only girl that would efficiently go and grab the guys on the ICU gurneys and take them.
And your years as a medic, these are the things you're learning about, how to keep a soldier alive.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Did intensive care. So in my realm of medic, I joined, and they do all the training in the Air Force. So you go into your hands-on training or your clinical training, and then your hands-on training. And then after that, you would go to your first base. And everybody at the time, we walked around with folders that were our training manuals. And so whatever job you worked at, you would get more education depending on what job you were in. So
did you feel overwhelmed at all?
I've never really, no, I feel like I can always handle whatever's happening. I mean, yes, Darian, I can't say no all the way. I mean, I was in Iraq, I was in Afghanistan. There were moments that felt overwhelming, but did I ever really feel like I was gonna, I don't know, I always trusted the moment. I felt like I was always, if that was supposed to happen, that was gonna happen. And I might as well be here and enjoy where I'm at. So I've always trusted the moment.
Speaking of moments, what moments were the most impactful for you as a medical technician?
Mm, um,
Or where do we start?
yeah, I'm going to say as a whole, seeing seeing God work, truly. From I worked with pediatrics in Iraq and Afghanistan, and how the men in Iraq and Afghanistan see women is very different than America. So when you are touching their son, or who the patient that's injured, the child, they do not want you touching them. Like they don't want me to talk. They don't want me to look at them. They don't want any of that. So to be in those moments where a person treated me like that, and then
While you're trying to save the daughter or son's life.
yes, and then here we are 4 days later, and whatever had to happen in the transpire with the patient did, and how that man has now looked at me and how prayed with me with the chaplain. To me, that the sense of God working, how God works, truly seeing that in a lot of different moments is powerful, because I feel like I have a view and lens of life a lot different than the people around me. And then I would also say, truly loving my body and being grateful. I have arms and legs, and I get to live this life in and I get to breathe in the simplicity of those things that most all of us have, of how real that is if that was removed. I mean, if you had to take your hand off right now, how impactful would that be? So yeah, just appreciating where the realness of life, what we truly have.
How are the children being injured?
Bombs, car accidents, lots of like being hit by a car. That sums it up.
So these children are unsupervised, or we have wild drivers?
Oh, it's in a war zone. So the war is happening in their area. And when it comes to Geneva Conventions, we take care of, pretty much
Whoever.
Mm-hmm. So when they're that injured, they get accepted into our hospital. So we take care of them, which is, to me, a blessing. That was also another impactful moment of realizing that war is war, but we are in somebody else's country. And like, however they look at us, of course, I can't imagine if somebody was in my country and bossing me around. So I feel like the reasoning of we're all one, that was such a huge lesson, which was a beautiful lesson of like, stop judging people. We're literally all from the same planet. And that's where we're all from. It's not a specific location, planet Earth. We all should feel that way. We all should be at home here.
Well, the example that you were sharing with the father, and he didn't want you to touch his son, where was the mom?
Let me think about where I was at. That was Iraq. So in Iraq, I believe, and I might be wrong on some of the culture differences, but their first son is like I'll say their retirement plan in simple words. Like they're going to take care of the mom and dad. Their firstborn is everything. So when the firstborn is injured, I always knew it was the firstborn because their dad was there, where mom was never there if it was the firstborn son. So that was
fascinating. It must have been not just amazing, but profound moment when the father, his thinking and feeling about you, that moment when you met eyes, you saw behind his eyes that he had changed, he had shifted, and saw you now as someone, doesn't matter the gender, you were helping his son so that he could have a retirement plan.
Yeah.
Did you stay in touch with him?
Oh, no. This was, unfortunately, Darren, it actually went opposite. His son didn't make it.
Oh.
But it was, I feel like the care that I provided for his son the whole time, that was the shift of him seeing what I did for him. Yeah. Like we do postmortem care. So you have to like care for the child and wash them up and, make sure they look decent before, you put them in bags. That moment of that gratitude of from beginning to where we are now. And there was a lot. Darren, I've been spit at, I've been kicked at, you name it, where it is. And I understand they don't understand, but when especially as a woman speaking to a doctor or speaking to whoever came into that area with us, where at first they don't like that. They're not used to a woman doing that at all. Especially if you come at them, with not nicely and respectfully, it's like, this needs to happen. So yeah, it was, just culture differences as well.
Shocking for them.
Yes.
Those American women, who do they think they are?
Yes, but it was beautiful to see how, fast forward to the hug. I mean, he gave me a hug at the end. Oh. I remember there was a prayer that we were doing where, we looked at each other and it was, honestly, I know that man probably still thinks about me to this day. So those moments, I'm very grateful that I'm that type of veteran that I got to heal and, help, which was
so beautiful.
Wonderful. Yes. And the truth of, it's really hard in ICU. You have a patient that you're taking care of that is dying. In other words, that's an American. And then right next to him, you have the guy that blew him up or shot him. And you also had to take care of him. So that level of like, how do you feel about each patient?
Compassion.
Where I completely had to turn and thank God that happened to me, because I do remember when it was opposite, but it's like, babe, I'll help you and I'll help you. I don't see the difference of who knew what made that guy do it in the first place, where, I feel like none of us know those stories. So yeah, compassion to truly everybody. It's a wonderful lesson.
8 years was a lot.
Yeah, it taught me a lot.
Yes. And within those 8 years for extra duty, you had the opportunity to teach the 34 exercises.
I did. So my first job was a physical training leader. Right at my first duty, you get all kinds of extra jobs while you're there or in the Air Force, period, or wherever you work. And as a physical training leader, you are over who is ever in your unit, however many people that may be. You make sure that they can pass their PT test, in other words, and then you work out with them however much that unit mandates for. It's 3 times a week, 5 times a week. Everybody's different. And so you lead these group fitness classes for X amount of time, depending on where you're working, running, push-ups, sit-ups. And I started teaching Pilates right away. I mean, the 34 exercises were, 16 to 19. I started doing this at 19. I knew the 34. So being able to teach that was very efficient. And now thinking about in the 8 years, I really never had anybody have an issue. I mean, yes, there's lazy people out there, even in the Air Force, believe it or not, where trying to get somebody to pass a PT test, I never really had that big of an issue of getting somebody to that point, which was wonderful.
When you first introduced those 34 mat exercises, could you teach them all 34 or were they dying?
Oh, no, it's so challenging to teach 34, even in an hour base to new people. And yes, no, no way. And if you can, good for you. But I think that, especially new or people that are they're having to do Pilates that's mandated, not that, they want to. That's a different field of people. But it was a wonderful experience to teach Pilates to everybody.
You were saying in the pre-interview that the soldiers would come in and lay down their guns and...
Well, my first class, I was in Afghanistan. There was a soft tent, like a tent outside of our hospital. That was the old hospital. And I asked the chief of our hospital if I could borrow that. And he was like, I don't care what you do whatever you want. So I printed off flyers and I hung them up everywhere. And I had a Pilates class. So my first non-mandated Pilates class, which was wonderful because it was not people, it was people that actually wanted to go. And so, yes, in Afghanistan, I taught a mat class where we were packed into this tent like sardines, but not pretty sardines, very unorganized sardines with guns everywhere. And Darian, when I teach 100, I can go back to that memory sometimes. And it's like, thank God, wherever I'm at, it's not there. It's a wonderful feeling, which is great. I have that mixed with my Pilates career.
And then they would finish their class. They would get up, stand up, hopefully taller, take their guns, and go about their day.
Yes, the best person they can be.
Did you get any feedback?
Oh, there's people that took that class that still tell me they practice Pilates to this day, which that's very rewarding. One of my girlfriends that takes the class, last time I talked, she's like, duh, I'm taking Pilates. Don't question me. Which is a wonderful feeling to bring that level of practice to people, all these years later.
Are these veterans or they're still in or they left?
A mix of all the above.
And yet they kept Joe's mat exercises close to them.
Yes. And now even, transformed. Thank God the Pilates community has boomed. Thank you, social media. But I feel like that platform has, even going into other apparatuses of this at this point, Pilates is still a staple in their
so extraordinary. Now, let me ask you, in the military, do they recognize part of their PT training with this work?
No, it is very sit-ups, push-ups,
still
jumping jacks.
In 2025.
Running. Yeah, well, I got out. This was, we're talking about 2004 here. So this was many years ago when I'm talking about Air Force. I hope Air Force has gotten a little bit more with this. But no, it was a very simple, what I would say, physical culture, run, push up, sit up.
That's the requirements that you need to pass this test.
So it's different, Darian. It's for every age. It's a different for whatever age group. It usually varies by about 5 years. So somebody's going to have a different parameter at 35 than somebody that would at 45. But it's a mile run, push-ups for a minute, sit-ups for a minute, and measure waist circumference. So, which is different too, because, BMI is such an old standard of your body metrics, where I do like that we still did the pinch of your waist, because if it was a big muscular guy that was way out of his BMI, considered overweight, which that's the last thing he is, that really helped their PT test.
So the minute of sit-ups, it doesn't matter how many you do, you just have to do it for a minute.
Mm-hmm. And you have to get, I believe 60 at this point
60?
Was the max. 60, which I'm sure you could slay. But now, as I was thinking about this interview today, I was thinking about the form and it was like, oh my God, I would cringe right now. But your hands would have to be behind your head and you'd have to sit all the way up where your elbows touch your thighs. And if you imagine asking somebody to do that, all the bodies, trying so hard.
And same with push-ups. What's the number for push-ups?
60.
Oh. So a push-up every second?
Every second. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know about that. That's impressive with straight legs.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Hey everyone, I wanted to let you know that DarianGold.com has been beautifully redesigned. Besides a new brand identity, the site is simple to navigate. With only 5 menu items, it's easy to glean information about classes and links to the Pilates Mastery app, the ATP podcast, and even to my voiceover website. Plus, I'm offering a special individualized mentoring program. And lastly, Tracing My Path, a digital coffee table book. The Pilates Mastery app has new additions. You can listen to my current podcast season right inside the app. The video player is replaced to help decrease buffering. A replay option is available so you can work on a routine continuously. And our in-app purchase options are coming soon, which include audio only, single exercises, my wall repertoire, and a meditation piece to help you relax after your workouts. Well, that's the latest news. And now, back to the interview. When you left the military, when you made the decision to leave, did you leave with all of you intact?
Yes. Long. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I did.
Yes, sir.
Now, fast forward to my life now, are there elements that is stuck, such a hard word, but like things that I needed to heal, going into Iraq and Afghanistan, things that I needed to heal that I feel like fast forward and now seeing my younger self. Yeah, there's some elements I got. That was the yes, but yeah, yes, I definitely feel that I have somewhat of a very whole, sound mind, and that makes me very happy in comparison to a lot of my friends.
Yes, because PTSD is real.
Yeah. Oh, PTSD is very real. And I would say I knew that I had elements of it. Actually, on one of my interviews to get out of the Air Force, I had to meet with a psychiatrist, and she laughed at me when I told her I didn't have PTSD. And I remember being so young and vulnerable, 27, and I was like, no, ma'am, I feel like I had the job. I knew I could do it. I always knew I was strong enough for it. And she was like, baby, every medic that was in Vietnam, every single one of them had PTSD. And she was like, I don't know why you don't think you have it. And I was like, and I was so nonchalant. And that's always stuck with me. So I did know, like, there's a lot of truth to that. But fast forward to my life now, Darian, I had a studio, very successful studio.
Pilates studio where?
In Nacogdoches, Texas, oldest town in Texas. Wonderful, very small town.
Small town, and they were all at your studio.
Yes, it was beautiful. It was a dream come true. Every aspect of it. I had
fully equipped.
Fully equipped. Yes, 10 of everything, not 10 Cadillacs. I wish that would be the dream, right? Which was great. I feel like we all believe our truths on Pilates. I love the culture now of like reformer classes, but I was taught you do everything. So I was very big on having, studio taught how I like Pilates to be taught. So it was a dream come true, every aspect of it. And then one random day, Darian, I'm meditating, and in my meditation, it was called Stretch ER. ER, what was my maiden name. And I'm also a fascial stretch therapist. That's where the stretch came in. So in my meditation, I hear close Stretch ER, and I sat there quiet with it for...
Was that the first time you had heard it?
Yes. Yes. And it caught me from a storm. And from, I would say October 24th to November 1st, I tell somewhere that happened in between those days. November 1st, I tell my husband I'm going to close the studio. And he, of course, is like, what? What are you going to do? And in a way, I got defensive about it. And it was like, when I realized I was defensive about like, who cares? This is my life. I'm going to close it. I realized there was something underlying that. And then I tell my parents, same thing. And that underlying defensive mechanism of, like, this is their idea of what success is. And this isn't my idea of it. So let me shift and go somewhere else. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Good job, studio owners out there. Thank you for what you do. But here we are. I tell my team December 1st. I wanted to sit with it a month to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Well, what was your team consist of who?
I had 11 employees at the time. So office manager, couple teachers. My teachers, I try to get not all my teachers, but if I had any stretch therapists, I also had them as teachers for the most part or in the training to try to get to that point. So a lot of people that were involved in having to tell that I'm about to shift their life, who have trusted me on their career path. A lot of people, one of my girls was a nurse, completely quit her job to be a nurse to come be a stretch therapist and a Pilates teacher. So December 1st, I tell my team, I tell everybody, I write an email out to all my people and put it on social media.
That must have been hard.
It was actually very, closing a business is a lot too. It's just as hard, I would say, as opening the business. So I feel like it was very like, boom, I'm going to do it. As you can see, I jump off my seat every time I get an opportunity. I just knew that I knew this is what was supposed to happen. And somewhere between December, probably 1st and 15th, it hit me like a rock that I built a business on a wound. And it was like, this was a business that mimicked.
On a wound.
A wound, yes. It mimicked a war zone.
Just one wound or the wound?
A war zone wound. Like it was just like I built Iraq or Afghanistan right here at home where I work ridiculous hours and work every day that I can, 7 days a week. I train everybody I can to heal. So when I came to what I was doing to myself, because there was elements that I haven't healed yet, there was such a relieving aspect of, I don't need to explain myself to anyone. I'm going to close my business and heal myself, which has been wonderful. Fast forward, I think we're, a year and a half later and life's great. I mean, man, my goodness, I feel like I'm happy as I can be, which is wonderful.
Do you stay in touch with the 11 employees?
I do. Yes. And everybody, there was a gym here.
They still love you?
Yes. There was a gym here that they didn't want to take all my equipment, but they took like springboards and OOVs and spine correctors. And now they have chairs. So they are slowly building it up. So a lot of my employees went over there and great office manager, got a wonderful position. So I tried really hard to push people where I thought was a good position for them. So yes, they still love me. I still communicate with all of them.
It's only been a year and a half.
Yes.
You've traveled far in a year and a half.
I like to do things, Darian. Yes, I am. I just finished my first semester in my master's. So that's been very fun.
In master's?
Master's in kinesiology, human performance. As you can tell, I like to get a little educated. So this was my boredom. I was bored, so signed up for school, and here we are. So,
speaking of education, real-time education, when you were in the war zone and you were helping, healing, suturing, before that would happen, you would see all this connective tissue in our bodies. And in the pre-interview, you talked about how fascinating that was for you. And that led you to these other ideas about healing truly from the inside out. Can you say more about that?
Absolutely. Fascia, especially in an ICU setting, a lot of our patients, there's only one big ICU in Iraq, one big ICU in Afghanistan, where the smaller hospitals or units, they have to, if they're considered intensive care, they're going to have to come to us before they fly out of the countries to make sure they're stable. So some of them have flown to come to us to make sure that they're okay, or we need to stabilize them. And seeing fascia under a traumatic situation, and especially with flying, that element to it.
What does that do, actually?
It makes it swell up, which makes, if you've noticed, if you're on a plane, sometimes you swell up, that same concept. So seeing the fascial network swell up in a specific area, so much so, you think if you popped it with a little tip of a pin, it would pop, like that level of swelling. We would do fasciotomies. So we would cut down a part of their leg. So it's just getting in the compartments or fascial compartments of their lower leg to relieve that pressure. And that just blew my mind of, where's this pressure coming from? Why is it a specific compartment? What is fascia? Like, what is this? And of course, not a lot. I big question asker. Not a lot of people, I feel like medicine just keeps happening and we do what we do. But yes, we ask questions. Don't get me wrong. Air Force medicine is best medicine in the world. Good job, guys. But I feel like those levels of like, why are we cutting here? I wasn't getting that answer in the moment of like, I see that we need to do it. I see we need to do it now, but can we maybe do it a different way? And now I would put all my money, Darian, that if I can manipulate that a specific way, that wouldn't have to happen. So that really has been my journey of trying to figure out the manipulation of fascia in the body.
Oh, instead of cutting it out and making space.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And room.
How can we handle it? Yes, differently. And that goes, fascia, my God, that's a whole nother topic. But when somebody postures bad, if somebody is hunched over, it's really not their fault, especially a kid. Their fascial network is getting pulled. There's a reason they're hunched over like that. There's a reason their legs going like that. And then how deep that level of why it's getting held that way and how much it can affect is wild. It's Pandora's box. Who they are, what they are, their personality, are they in alignment of what they need to do? The fascial network, it's a whole nother level. So let me wrap that up. I love fascia. I love every bit of fascia. I've been on a journey and continue this journey of trying to figure out the body a little bit more and how we in our Pilates community even can be more efficient and relieve the tugs that happen on our body.
Okay, so how has it changed your teaching then, having this understanding and knowledge?
I feel like how somebody comes to you and let's say they're being snooty cakes, just you don't really want to deal with them because they're snooty. I'm a fascial stretch therapist and a structural integrator as well. Body reading has been taught in Pilates, fascial stretch therapy, and structural integration. So seeing the body, I've always looked at it and can see what's happening. But now I have such an awareness of, oh, bless your heart. You need me to open your chest. Your chest is just closed off and tight. Let's do some chest expansion, like a lot of it. Let's actually sit there and talk for a little bit. And then let's do it again. How are you feeling today? Because while they're coming in snooty cakes, it's because they have their network is caught. It's not their fault. There's something else to it. I believe like a kid, we come here with loving and kind spirits. And when we're caught somewhere in our fascial network, it makes us mad and we present that to others. So in my Pilates teaching, more empathetic, but more on, I know I can get there. I know we can open this up. If we can just put it back in, it's very simple. Just put it back in place, make it stack back upright and do the exercises that do that, where you can get snooty cakes out of her. She doesn't want to be snooty cakes. She wants to be in a good attitude. Make her open her chest.
I'm going to start using those two words together. When you look at a body, are you already imagining what that network looks like inside?
Absolutely. And trying to figure out the layers, because once we get something undone, there's something under that. There's something under that. To me, I've never met someone that's completely aligned. There's always something to work on. You got to meet the person where they're at. And just like all of us, throughout the week, there's sometimes we're having a good day. There's a moment in the day where we're not having a good day. And we got to meet that person on that roller coaster and teach them then, so we can hopefully relieve that caught network.
You have a program that integrates all of your education.
I am now on YouTube Pilates, one word, YouTube Pilates. So how I teach is more in that realm. And now that I'm teaching on YouTube versus somebody coming to me specifically, I'm not working with that body. I'll be honest, a lot of what I do that day, my creativity has to do with where I am and where my body is. So I feel like depending on the video or workout that our intention is at the time, I teach based on.
Are these live? Are these live?
I have a platform of 160 videos. I just started in January. This is a love language where I closed my studio. I honestly thought I was done with Pilates. And here I am 20 years later. And I was like, nah, I'm done. I think I've been there, done that. I think I'm good. And here I am, a year later after closing, I start a YouTube page and it's like, okay, I don't know. I feel like the universe keeps pushing me and I just keep saying, okay, and doing what I'm supposed to do. So I know I need to have a platform out there for y'all, whoever y'all may be, whether it's mentorship of what I deem my Pilates world to be and how I teach it, as far as I love classical Pilates, but I also see the realm of we need to open that up too. So what can we implement at that time to make that goal happen in the fascial network for what we're working on?
Anything surprise you when you were putting this platform together that you didn't know or you should have known? Or
it's surprising me that I'm doing it. It makes sense. It makes sense that I'm doing it. I'm very creative and it's not hard for me to talk on a camera. I can push play and I can go the entire time. I don't have to do it 5 times. So that's a blessing. There's a lot of people out there that can't do that. So it's a natural gift. But no, I'd say the most surprising part is I'm here, Darian. I'm doing it. I think we're all going to be surprised where this unravels and unfolds. I think it's a lot bigger than what we think it's going to be.
When you say it, are you talking about contrology in general?
YouTube Pilates specifically, and contrology. I see it 100% growing. I mean, social media, whether it's good or bad, I'm going to say it's publicity, and it's getting it out there. And to me, I don't want to say I shake my head at what I am reading as Pilates and what I'm seeing, but
I do.
And it's been hard. I'm trying to be very kind and open with that.
Yes.
So that's why I'm also doing it, because I see there's a need. There's a need to see what Pilates is and how can we teach it efficiently? How can we get this system in 2025? Yeah, I just trying to get all my education into one place and put it out there for the world right now, just with a loving heart.
How can people reach out to you? Is it best email, phone, or through your website?
Yeah, you can reach out to me from Elena, ELENA, at YouTubePilates.com. I am slowly working on the YouTube website. There's not a lot there yet, but my summer had just started. And I have a lot of videos on YouTube. So I would say the best way is get me on YouTube. And I do some stuff on TikTok too. So check me out any way you would like to.
Fascinating story you have. Literally witnessing from the inside of the body in the worst scenarios and bringing all of that knowledge into a light-filled, positive environment. You have much to teach people and share.
Thank you, Darian. I really appreciate this time and energy you put towards me. I appreciate it very much.
Yes.
Thank you. I have a question for you, Darian.
Of course.
Okay, you ready for it?
Uh-huh.
When I came to this question, I was like, oh man, I like this.
Was this in your meditation?
No, it wasn't, but close. Okay, you ready?
Okay, got it.
If creativity came and knocked on your door, what would it ask you to do differently?
I think that creativity would want me to have a much, much larger vehicle or platform to share how I deem this work, and to allow all of my other training to be added to that platform. So for an example, I'm a natural producer. So I could imagine producing different kinds of shows or different kinds of, I don't know if platform would be the right word, but different ways to get his work out there that's exciting, informational, educational, where we can add movement, whether it's a dance component or not. Music has always been in my life. Having a great team. The creativity piece requires a great team around me. And if I had a great team around me, I think nothing could stop my creativity from flowing. Thank you for asking me that. No one's ever asked me that.
And I hope the creativity comes to you without all those people all the time. I hope you find that. Okay, I have one more question for you, Darian. What would your 88-year-old self, with that same question, what would your 88-year-old self say to that?
88?
Mm-hmm. Like say to the question of...
88 as in after 87?
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah.
87 years old. I'm about to hit 88.
What would she tell you to do to open up your creativity more?
To be less judgmental and to be less hard on myself and to trust that the gifts that have been given to me, that I have always known that I've had, to let them shine through and just stay the fuck out of the way.
Amen, sister. I hope that happens for you.
Thank
Be
you.
open.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Be open. Thank you. And to be continued, our conversation.
Thank you very much, Darian.
All Things Pilates is produced, written, edited, and hosted by me, Darian Gold. Mastered audio mix, Fabian Romero. Original music, a.k.a. Johnny. If you're enjoying this show, we would love for you to leave a review on Apple Podcasts so you can let others know what you like or love about All Things Pilates. Also, if you're interested in helping to support this podcast, become a subscriber. It helps with the back-end costs that accrue when producing a show. To learn more about our growing community, check out our show notes. Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity. Hippocrates.